It's really all about know-how transfer. One country tries one thing, then of course reports, was it good, was it bad, because it's not always great, as it is with everything. And then the other countries learn from it. The benefits of a standalone program is, of course, that you have full control over the design, the development of the program, of how you build the customer experience around it. You have a stronger identity where you put your company first and not as a part of something. Gamification doesn't mean explicitly that you play a game. Nowadays it's also the emotionalizing of different elements and make it more visible, or like just having of the coupon of our Wheel of Fortune, a blink in another color when you win it. This is actually also gamification. Gathering points, having coupons, conditional coupons where you have to reach, maybe you have to do 5 visits to Kaufland to get the coupon.
All right, and I think that at this point we should be live. So, hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Today we are going to discuss designing loyalty, but we are going to discuss a very interesting retail loyalty program, and this knowledge will come directly from a practitioner, like loyalty builder herself. Today we have an awesome guest, Mirela Angelov, CRM Program Manager at Kaufland. Hi Mirela.
Hi everyone. So nice to be invited.
Awesome. It's great to have you. We are going to discuss a lot of things, but I think that, let's say, just 3 of those are going to be the trade-offs between a coalition program and building your own system. Also, we are going to discuss the structure of the Kaufland Card loyalty program. And we are going to discuss global retail loyalty programs and actually how to launch a program in different countries. So that's a sort of like a teaser, for people who are still wondering, like, is it worth it to go through the whole interview and the whole discussion? And I'm absolutely sure that it is. So it's great. So let's dive in. Mirela, if you could briefly describe your role at Kaufland.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been with the loyalty CRM team at Kaufland International for almost 6 years now. I've been lucky enough to have great mentors along the way, and I have learned really a lot and fast. And I have been with countries and supporting them as lead country coordinator during rollouts. Also during the time after a rollout, when just by supporting the country in everyday business and how to evolve the program. And I've been a big part of our requirements engineering process. And starting from 0 to where we are today, with more countries joining the loyalty world at Kaufland. And until today, I've always been also the main contact person about all app-related topics from our program management side. And it's been until now a really exciting journey. A lot of different topics every day. Now working with 8 countries.
Awesome.
So a lot of impulses there, and every day is different.
I can imagine. So your role is both business and technical, from what I understand, right?
Yeah, my profile is pretty mixed because, in the beginning, it was more in a consulting kind of way and more from strategic perspective. But the more I learned how the processes work and what our product owners and product managers work, how the system works, the more knowledge I gathered, it was much easier for me to support in the countries and give them better advice of how to utilize what we already have in our hands, what our system can do. And this is easier for me to put myself also as an expert consultant and address their questions, their fears when they are unsure in which direction to go in different cases for campaigns and so on. And then it's also less workload for our technical counterparts. It's also in general easier for the team when there's somebody who sees the bigger picture. It makes communication towards the countries and also towards my other international colleagues much easier and smoother. It saves a lot of time and nerves.
Sure, sure. And it's great because, it just makes you a perfect loyalty builder in this scenario, because you need to understand the big picture, but you also go into details. And also your experience is international, which means that you can look at the loyalty program from a brand asset perspective, but also like through a individual character of each country. And I believe that we were going to discuss it in detail later on. So maybe let's just go slowly towards this topic. As you can see, I'm really excited about all of the aspects of your role. So that's the reason. So one of the key things that we wanted to discuss, and I'm particularly interested in that, is the difference between a coalition and a standalone loyalty program. Since we are discussing Kaufland as the main example for loyalty here, and this is like, I'm based in Poland and Kaufland is present in Poland. I know a lot of people who are frequent visitors and are the Kaufland card members, but I know that it's European. So in this case, I know that the Polish market is just one of many. But I wanted to ask you about this test between a coalition and a standalone loyalty program. So what are your learnings from the experiment? If you could briefly describe the sort of like experience with both coalition and running your proprietary system.
Yeah, it was exactly in Poland where we tested both scenarios, because I think it's depending on the case when a company wants to decide to go for standalone program or for being a part of a multi-partner program. It both ways have their pros and cons, and maybe I'll tell you how we did it for Kaufland, and then we can also discuss in general what it is. Because for us in the beginning, we didn't have yet the resources, the human resources, the IT resources to start fast, because for standalone program, you need to cover your basics in the beginning. And trying the waters with being part of a multi-program system, it gives you a taste of what it feels like. It's fast. You don't have to don't have the financial investment in the beginning. You can see what kind of data you gathered, because in a joint program you also benefit from from people knowing the other partners and the multi-partner, in our case with Payback. So it was it's a two-way benefit for both parties. And I think we did the best we can also with Payback in Poland. This was our first loyalty country, and then shortly after we also rolled out our first Kaufland card program in Romania. So then we had both programs live, and we were able to benefit from both worlds and see what works best, what kind of other insights you get when you're part of this community of partners within Payback. and also how they work, because then with a multi-channel or multi-program community, you have really strong structure, technical, because they have to serve a lot of companies and they have to be top notch, because there's no place for live bugs. Of course, everything always happens, but the stability of the system is one of the really great benefits in this case. And also development works also faster because you have much bigger teams, you have much more finance there, and it's easier, like, to, if something is working for one company, they just adapt it to yours. But the freedom is not really there, with being part of such system. But it's a really the learning effect there was great, because once we decided to stick to standalone program, the team that we still have in Poland, they already have done it once. So rolling out our program, they already knew what to do, what the expectations are of the customer data that we gather, and the finding in your own role, again, it was really fast. So it was like this: they knew what to do. It's like they've done it all their lives, basically. They did, just in a little bit different structure. And also our part got more intense when they switched to standalone, because when they were part of Payback, I was also responsible for Poland, because in our team there's also this some colleagues are responsible for this set of countries, other for others, and Payback and Poland was under my responsibility. And we, of course, regularly had these meetings between the CRM colleagues in Poland and also the responsibles from Payback Poland and us. And because their relationship is more intense, it felt like a bit of the third wheel on a date. But still, for me, it was really interesting to see how they do it, what kind of topics, and how they discuss it, because Payback is, of course, one of the biggest programs also in Germany. So me as a customer, it was really interesting to see how behind the curtains everything works. And yeah, there was I benefited a lot from just being a part of the conversation and asking how it works for us, for them, how the communication goes. Um, yeah, and it was really, really. I think it was worth the try, because we took a lot from this relationship, and we parted as friends. So it was all good. And now with standalone, it was actually our last country to join the Kaufland world. But yeah, it is really interesting now, seeing it with from another perspective, and being able to support the country also. It's in their second life as a loyalty program.
Sure. So this coalition, this Payback as a coalition program allowed you actually to test out if a loyalty program will be something that customers are interested in. Am I right here? And then because of the reliability of the platform, it was a sort of like nice entry point into
Of
the, let's say,
course, yes, they
loyalty.
benefit from having a big food retail also on their site. And of course, there are also the conditions that um, it's logical no other food retail can join because of the competition. So there are distinct rules. Also, we see them in Germany: when one goes, another enters the circle. Uh, yeah, and at that point, as the only food retail part of Payback, it was pretty exclusive. And if Payback, when no no matter if it's Payback or another multi-channel system, if they have a good reputation, then you benefit also from it. So if people like Payback or some other ones, the chances they will also start with a positive attitude towards the new company that enters the circle is also pretty high. But it can go also either way. If you depend on the decision and of the multi-channel community as well, because what they do also reflects on the companies that are a part of the circle. So
Sure, sure. So that's cool. And you also mentioned that your team that was built around this coalition program, then this team built skills that were really key when it comes to launching your own
yes,
the Kaufland
definitely.
card.
This was a really good benefit because we had our analytical colleagues that work with the customer data. They still do the same, just from another slightly different perspective. And also now, because when you're standalone, you have the exclusive access to your data, and you can also request or makes it in a way that you get the data you want and you need, and not what is being given to you.
Sure, not what is available, but actually you can be really proactive when it comes to
Exactly.
thinking about the data structure. Perfect. So I wanted to ask you about the possible reasons why ultimately you decided to go okay, let's create our own proprietary system. What in your experience would be the arguments for doing that?
Yeah, if you look, if for the benefits of a standalone program is, of course, that you have full control over the design, the development of the program, of how you build the customer experience around it. You have a stronger identity where you put your company first and not as a part of something. And of course, data privacy is also currently a topic. You have better control over it. And yeah, the ownership over the customer data that you gather and how you work with it is much more brighter. And yeah, on the other hand, you have high costs because you have to put the technical structure on your side, on your end. You have to build the teams because somebody has to work with also this with the system, gather the data. You need the people, you need the experts for it. And while working as a part of the multi-program system, it's different. And also I think it's the how customers the customer acquisition is also different, because when you're part of a community, it comes with the customers. They are directly already your customers. They can gather points in your stores, and when you're standalone, you have to build from zero. You have to make them want to come to you, to register, to give their data, to understand what kind of benefits you offer. So you really have to put the effort and build your image from the ground up.
Awesome. So just a quick question, but I know that the answer might not be that easy, but I'm thinking about your perspective on the challenges for a big brand like Kaufland, international presence. What are the key challenges in such a scenario when you want to implement your own proprietary loyalty program?
Mm. It's, of course, I think as a preparation, it is really important to know your competitors, to know what you're up against and how to build your strategy, because it's also different to position yourself in a market where you have 2, 3 competitors or you have 10 of them. Yeah, then the stakes are pretty high, and then you have to really come out strong, and then mm, put the communication is the key. from the beginning, how do you communicate the benefits that your loyalty program brings? Why it is worth for the customers to walk 5 minutes more and come to you and not to the competitor next door? And just working this strategy. The strategy is important, that before you launch, that you know what makes you better than the competitor. Because if you're offering the same things, then it will be a challenge for you as a newbie to get them to like you, to know you, when you're offering the same as the competitors that are longer there, are known, people are already used to them. So you have to bring something other to the table.
Absolutely. So standing out is a key goal in this case.
Definitely.
Thank you. I will, obviously, I could discuss this topic for much, much, much longer, but I'm truly interested in the Kaufland card. And now, since you have given us the background and the origin, let's say, at this point, I'm really curious, what does the Kaufland card look like today? So if you could give us like a bit of information about the structure and about the customer experience, but perhaps we could start with how does it stand out from the retail competitors? Because I believe that the retail market is quite competitive. So what would be the unique value proposition for the Kaufland card?
I think it's more or less the whole experience that Kaufland brings with itself. It's the mix of everything. It's not just the loyalty program, it's how you differ from the competitors. Because often we are also compared to Lidl, but Lidl has a whole other concept as a store in itself. So, you have customers that prefer that type of retail, and others prefer the bigger hypermarkets, where the big stores, a lot of variety of products, and it's not for everybody. So you have to like it to want to also be part of the loyalty program, of which the companies is offering. And so now, being present in 8 countries, we gather the findings, the impulses from each country, just to make the program better. Because this is how you start with a strategy. You, on day one, you're here, and then after 6 years you're completely on a different place in your development, because the programs, they grow. We started with one set of benefits, and now we offer so much more than in the beginning. But that's not why, because we set up for these features than in the beginning. It's because we learn and adapt to what the market is looking for, what the competitors are offering, and what also the current trends are. Because this is all of this is influencing our decisions. And that's why I think what sets us apart is that we really try to reflect on what the customer wants. And of course, the key is personalization. And you need also time to be able to start with the personalization, to get to know your customers and try to answer their calls accordingly, and also build the customer journey that it's unique for them and it's fitting. Because if you want to build a loyalty program that really matters, it's not one size fits all. This is not a possibility if you want to be successful.
Yeah.
So
this is also something that we've been encouraging customers to do, that you start quickly with a proof of concept, then you move on to some like minimum version of your program, just to start, learn, and based on your insights grow the program. Because obviously it's I absolutely agree with your just what you have said, that it's not about spending a lot of time designing, but it's actually trying out. Because sometimes things that look good on paper, they simply do not work
Yeah,
in reality, right?
yeah,
So,
and
mhm,
exactly. I think it's also because when you're so invested as part of the company on one side of the table, you see things differently. Your perspective is also not the same as the random customer that goes to your supermarket. So it is important that you listen to the feedback of the customers. We do different tests to just ask people, okay, how would you respond to this implementation, or to decide between A and B, because often what we think is the best decision is not always what we get as feedback from the customers. And this is why this agile method, it's working. That's what also other companies are striving to do, and to implement these strategies into their decision making process.
sure. Um, okay, so if we could briefly, if you could give us, let's say, a feeling of the main structure, how the Kaufland card is designed, and also what is unique about the customer experience that it provides.
Well, currently, what the main benefits of our program are that it's a point-based program. So every time you go and shop at Kaufland, you gather points. It's different in each country because also of the economic situation. We have different structures, and also you can use these points to buy yourself coupons that of course come with other with different kinds of discounts, if it's a basket discount, or it's a product group brand, then you can also buy yourself discounts for particular articles in many in the countries where we have the recommendation engine then ongoing. Then it's actually the products that you tend to like and to buy, so they are your products that you can buy yourself for a discounted price. Then what we also offer are the emotional benefits. We partner also with different companies that offer discounts for our loyalty customers. We also give them the opportunity to take part in winning games, loyalty winning games. And that's what, for example, our colleagues in the Czech Republic are doing extremely great. This is my favorite example of because they have monthly winning games that are not just a game that offers you that you can win something material, but
Mhm.
they are offering experiences. they
Okay.
they give you the chance to have a once in a lifetime experience, meet celebrities, spend the whole day with them, like with master chefs, then having cooking classes, or, as you know, ice hockey is a really great big thing in Czech Republic. And actually one of the last games was now, because it's the world championship in ice hockey, so the Czech team was part of them, and they enabled the group of winners to be there on Czech's game and then see everything live. And it, for some people that are not really involved in the process, they think that's, yeah, you buy some tickets, you invite some people and you fly them over. It's a really big organization. This is an amazing challenge because you are on one side responsible for all these people,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of coordination, and it is just so much effort. But the team, they're so invested, and the way they communicated, they built this circle of people that are part of this exclusive experiences, and they tell other people about it. They're our ambassadors of these unique experiences that they got the chance to live because of Kaufland card.
Awesome. I mean, I really love this example, and it really shows those two sides working together. Because on the one hand, you describe this typical structure of a loyalty program that allows you to collect points and then get this, the best value possible for the products that you are buying on a regular basis. But on the other hand, you have these experiences that are absolutely unique. So this is
Yes.
something that you couldn't pay for, right? So then
Yeah,
suddenly this program unlocks those opportunities that wouldn't be possible otherwise.
exactly. I think that this is the emotional aspect of the program, because the fun thing is when you ask customers what they expect from a loyalty program, it's discounts, 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 discounts. This is the main trigger. But then what? All the loyalty programs offer discounts. So this is not really what makes you different. It's the add-ons that you also offer. This emotional winning games, or like in Romania, we have this group great music festivals that take place there on a regular basis over the year, and then we give entry discounts for loyalty customers, or easy entrance passes, and so on. Like the goal is to identify what you want to your loyalty program to be identified with. It's this great once in a lifetime experience. Is the music festivals, or is it the opportunity to be part of CSR sustainability projects, like donating points for the Red Cross initiatives and so on. It's like I think this is what makes Kaufland Card special.
Awesome. I'm pretty sure that it's if we look deeper, then it turns out that this program is really like extensive and has a lot of different components. But I wanted to ask you about the feedback coming directly from members. So is there anything that pops up in your head like automatically if we think about something that your members, your customers, loyal customers really appreciate the program for?
Oh, it was last week we had one of our regular meetings with the colleagues from the Czech Republic, and they were actually telling us about this hockey game and the event around it, and they showed us emails from participants that explicitly took the time, and like this were like really long emails. Just they wanted to send their gratitudes, that
Awesome.
this is something that will stay for them together. They would tell their grandchildren about it, and this is what gives me the goosebumps.
Sure,
Because
sure.
of course, when something goes wrong, you have bug here and there. People are really fast by finding a way to send, negative comments or call to complain. But very rarely somebody really took the time to give you a positive feedback.
Especially if you're saying about like longer thought carefully thought through email, right? Just explaining the gratitude. So
Yes.
congratulations on that, and sending congrats to the whole team in Czech Republic. You're doing amazing job. I'm not a part of a team, but I also feel goosebumps at this very moment. So it's absolutely awesome. Obviously I could talk with you about it for hours, but if we could just sum it up with because there is an interesting thing here. You have the Kaufland card as the brand, pro like program for the whole brand, but on the other hand you have different countries. So how do you balance this consistency of a unified the Kaufland card program and also this local market flavor?
I think that's exactly something that also makes the program special. That we enable technically also the countries um, to give their own flavor to different campaigns. Like for example, Names Day, it's not a thing in each country. it's in Bulgaria, it's in Romania, and then we have this build customer journeys around local events or holidays, and then it's something that it's only individual for this country. And also there are, for example, also of course the national holidays, we give them the opportunity to within the app, within the channels, to put, for example, the national flag behind the digital card when there's the national holiday. This tweaks and twerks, I think that's something it gives a little bit more and gives it an emotional element. And that's where countries give a great example to each other, because working in such an environment, it's really all about know-how transfer. One country tries one thing, then of course reports, was it good, was it bad, because it's not always great. As it is with everything. And then the other countries learn from it, and they of course, as I said, not everything works in each country, so that's why we try and adapt. We have our pilot countries when we test different features to see if everything works the way we expected, if the customer responds the way we expect him to, and yeah, so that's really a big part of working internationally.
Yeah, I would say that it's a very exciting place to be in, because you have those, as you've mentioned, different countries testing out different scenarios, and then you can basically try to make sure that this knowledge is accessible to everyone. But we learn from mistakes, basically. So if something fails, it's even better, and it's great that you can still exchange information. So that's fantastic. Moving on, I wanted to ask you about the rollout. Like, a huge part of, obviously, like one of the basic challenge is to basically start the program, launch it. So I wanted to ask you about like a typical loyalty program rollout. What does it look like at Kaufland?
No, this is one of the most exciting processes, I must say, from my experience, and it takes time. It takes time to plan, especially, for example, we in not in every country had the same team setup. So, for example, in some countries we already have at least a small team of CRM colleagues that were, of course, not responsible for a loyalty program, but different customer related processes, to summarize it like this. And then they were already there, so it was easier to start conversations. We anyway had already at least once a year country meetings where the colleagues met, exchange experiences, talk about loyalty, and also in person, because we anyway have them on a more regular basis online, but still to meet in person was also something special. And then, depending on if you have the team or you have to start looking for one, it takes different time, to build your team that will be on national level operating the systems, because we on international level we set them up, but somebody has to work with them. Somebody has to assign the coupons and build the communication strategy depending on the national customer base, and send the newsletters, the communication, the campaigns, and everything. So you need a really good equipped team that is responsible for all of these processes. And of course, we always start with, of course, the technical perspective, to see that everything is set in stone and everything is functioning correctly, but also start with the information flow, to get firstly the CRM team on board on what our goal is, to bring everybody on the same page. and then you start with the other departments, because one of the biggest challenges is to bring everybody together and to plant the seed that CRM is important, and why loyalty programs are crucial for the development of a company. To explain to them how they can benefit from this data that we gather, how they can make better decisions based on this data insights that we gather. And it takes time for everybody to get on board. It's like different speeds, also depending on how much the particular department is beneficial for the rollout per se, and not after. So having kickoffs and deep dives with each the department is very crucial, so you have the same understanding everywhere, and especially to communicate what is the expectation, what is the workflow that will come with having a loyalty program, because this is not something that you do once and then you're ready. This is a living, breathing thing that you have to take care of. It's like bringing a baby to the world. You have to take care of it, let it grow, let it fail, and then learn from its mistakes and just support it the best way possible, and to grow up to be the best version of itself. It's like one to one. And
I haven't looked at it, from this perspective, but you're absolutely right that actually you overviewing those different countries, you probably expect each of those programs to be fully autonomic, right? Just like, working swiftly in this particular environment. So it absolutely makes sense.
and it is really, in the beginning, your relationship is much more intense, because they have much more questions, and this relationship you build during this rollout, it's really special, because people depend on you, they have questions, and you're the one that has to make sure that they're calm, that they know what to do, or they know, but you just have to remind them that everything will be okay. It's and they're doing it right. And yeah, and then as the child grows and gets more independent, then your responsibilities, they're still there, because also with the evolving set on loyalty features and benefits that they still need to learn this, and we are the one that bring this knowledge to them. And also look that the strategy that we have for Kaufland as a whole is aligned with each country and what they do. We are also the ones that also in parallel monitor all the KPIs and try to help them and support them, to push them to be higher, or to push them to go where we want them to be. And ensuring that this information, or what we learn from the different countries, is it's put to work in all of them.
Mm-hmm. Sure, but it's accessible to everyone, right? Who would like to expand on the program or reflect on it.
Yeah, because also you have different situation in each market, also depending what the competitors are doing. If a new player comes to the table, so you have to be able to react. And then they call and say, okay, a new competitor is coming, they have a new feature, what can we do now? How do you have any ideas? And then we collaborate on the decision making. And it's a great process. It's a challenging one, but when done right, it really gives you a great satisfaction.
Absolutely. I'm sure about that. Since I'm representing the technology side of loyalty, I wanted to ask you about the most common challenges that appear when coordinating a technical go live for those international teams. So if you think about technology behind loyalty, what in your opinion would be the most common challenges that teams expect or can expect?
Well, it's also when during rollout to bring the departments together and to start discussing what new developments need to be made in order to make the technical part works for the coupons to be accessible at the cash register, for you to show on the labels now the new price label. It's you have so many departments. You need also on to set up new rules for the calculation in controlling. Like, it's all really deeply connected. And that's why in the beginning, before we go to the departments, we identify all the dependencies, the initial dependencies that we already can identify. And then when we discuss with the different departments and with their IT experts, then we make the picture full also from their perspective, and the collaboration of what time they need, what kind of effort this will be for on their part. So we meet in the middle, and we have a timeline that we are ready to communicate towards the particular country where we want to roll out. So essential is the communication and the transparency about what exactly an implementation, how it will look like, and what it will involve.
And I'm really interested in do you have, let's say, single technology stack that everyone is using, or is it possible that in some countries, you've mentioned like pilot programs, for example, right? So is it possible for individual local country teams to test out different technology, or would you rather use the same stack across the organization?
It is because, for example, one big difference that we see within the countries is also if a country is a fiscal one or another, or because how the cash register systems, the IT works, it's different, what kind of software they're using. So you have to adapt to what is also legally allowed. If you have a fiscal bond and the regular bond in this country, and it's this influences what kind of features you can bring to the market or not often. If you can use a digital receipt that can where you can save printing a physical one, for example, this is not allowed everywhere because it has legal dependencies behind it. So that's what differs from country to country often. And also, not all, for example, gamification elements are also allowed in each country, also due to legal dependencies. So there are features you cannot roll out, you cannot use in particular countries because it's not allowed. And others you can choose to pilot there because you have found a solution that fits these kind of dependencies, and this would be the perfect country to try out because you don't have the alternative.
Definitely. That's very interesting, and I'm definitely going back to gamification in a moment. So I would like to learn your thoughts further. But before we do that, if we could discuss briefly personalization, because this is one, obviously, it's a very important topic in customer loyalty. So I wanted to ask you about your experience. So, for example, how do you use data? You've mentioned that data was one of the key reasons or differentiators between the coalition program and the proprietary program. So I wanted to ask you about your approach towards data, and how do you use it in order to provide customers with this unique experience?
So personalization is what every loyalty program strives to achieve, and it's not something that's available from day one. That's why we often call the launch the big bang as the start of the honeymoon phase. In the beginning, everything is great. You have the big communication in the stores. Everything is very prominent. Everybody talks about it. You see it also prominently in the different channels as television and so on, because you invest money into making you into putting your name out there. And then, of course, you rely on very attractive discounts, categories, brands, articles to lock the attention. But of course, it is not financially the best idea just to give the great discounts all the time. But this is, you have to see how you keep the attractiveness on the program until you can reach the moment where you can say, okay, I have gathered enough customer data. Now I can start personal. Now I know my customers, and I can start offering, giving him suggestions for for articles, brands that he loves, and he buys frequently. Or services. It's not only about, I think, the shopping experience, it's also the preferences. We offer different digital services as Kaufland Scan or mobile payment, or also e-mobility. So you can also load your electrical card within it. So it's the whole customer journey. You depending on how much data or how spread you are, you can see the whole ecosystem working together. And then based on this data that you have gathered, you are in a position to pick a really unique customer journey for each customer. Of course, it is not possible from the beginning. Also, from when you start the personalization, this is a really complex process to bring all this data together or make it available, because the systems, the technical system that you have rolled out, they have to give you this information. If it's from the beginning in real time, or if it's delay, it also influences at which point of time you can also communicate this information. You also don't have to overall the customer with saying, yeah, we know everything about you. This is also not a good way to approach
Yeah, that would be a bit scary at times.
Yes, so you have to identify what kind of what information works for you, and what information can bring you to the point that you bring value to the customer and to his customer journey. When does it make sense to use it, and when to just wait out and then reflect on his or her behavior. So it's not one, there cannot be one strategy, because it's just a mix of what you see and how you react to this data that you gather. If you see, okay, maybe not a lot of customers are using this feature, okay, then maybe we can work out a communication campaign. Maybe it's due to the customer just not knowing about it. Or let us take a survey and see if there are some usability issues that customers encounter if they're not recorded with customer service or on another platform. So it's KPIs that you gather, you can work differently depending on the topic that they bring you information about.
Sure. Thank you for clarifying this. Obviously, it's a huge part of the project, and it's complex. Could you share perhaps like one example of a successful personalization initiative? Something that might also be sort of inspiration for the community. That if you deal with data in the right way, then you can have like a solid insight or a significant benefit.
Well, it will be when we roll out the recommendation engine in the Czech Republic. And then after, taking time to adapt the process, then suddenly when it went full power, that we saw a really this was more than we expected, how much more customers that are using recommended coupons spend in Kaufland compared to the other ones. Like, it was, oh, I get goosebumps again while talking about it, because it was really exciting revelation, because also the team, we didn't count with this kind of uplift when compared to regular customers that haven't had coupons based on personalized coupons, because of course also in the beginning you make test groups to see, you have to compare it doesn't make sense to give them to everybody. You have to see what you're doing right and to make it better, so you need these groups to compare them with. And there was like really the numbers we got, it was something we still talk about it, because and we have taken them as a benchmark also to the other countries that we are rolling out the recommendation engine, and it is a game changer in
So
how
would you say that
customers.
it's like like twice as good, or if we are even, I if not the exact like number, if you could perhaps even give me the idea in
It was
percentage, like
more,
what could
they
you expect?
spent much more than twice.
Okay, more than twice. Awesome. Well, so obviously, yeah, this is something that is a huge uplift.
Yes, yes, it is, as I said, really a game changer, and that's. But as I said, it takes time and effort from both the national team and also from our side, and our analytics teams. They're putting so much efforts into making helping the engine works the way they want it to, and to respond to the customer needs, and what kind of articles they put in there. So it's really a lot of effort from both sides to make it work, because it's all not uh, um, a again, one size fits all decision. It's like in every country you need to adapt, because the customer base also is different. Of course, the learnings from one country helps a lot, because you're not starting from zero. You have a particular set of expectations and ideas how in which direction something will go, but you have to be able to adapt at any point depending on what the results show.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you for bringing that example. It's definitely a great one, and for everyone who is looking for maybe some A/B testing, so recommendations is definitely a point to consider. Now I wanted to go back to this topic that is also a great one and something that we've been exploring for months. It's gamification, and gamification is a growing trend. So just briefly, if you could say a few words about the way you use gamification when it comes to the Kaufland card.
Yeah, when I initially thought, okay, gamification, Kaufland, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe there are one, two things, but then I started like going over all our features, and then you see gamification elements almost everywhere, because gamification doesn't mean explicitly that you play a game. Nowadays it's also the emotionalizing of different elements and make it more visible, or like just having the coupon of our Wheel of Fortune blink in another color when you win it. This is actually also gamification. Gathering points, having coupons, conditional coupons, where you have to reach, maybe you have to do 5 visits to Kaufland to get the coupon. No, basket discount, and this is also a gamification element that
Sure, it's like some of our customers, they call it like challenges or quests, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, and these challenges, they are rewarded at the end with this most cases then a basket discount or a specific coupon. And this way you reward the customer's behavior. Or when you, for example, give points for as a reward for using Kaufland Scan, because one of the ways for you to introduce features and to make people aware of them and of why they are there for a reason, that it makes actually your shopping journey easier. Because some are skeptical and say, why do I have to scan my products alone when the cashier personnel was there? And actually you they don't get it that, for example, this makes your journey much faster, for example. But yeah, just making them try things out and then reward them for trying out. This is also a gamification element, like rewarding them for trying, giving them points for using a particular feature, or giving you an opt-in for communication, also rewarding different behaviors for the customers is part of the whole gamification word. And I realized that we have a lot of them and not only like the typical daily surprise for different campaigns, like for the advents calendar for Christmas, or Halloween campaigns, Easter campaigns, or like having the Wheel of Fortune combined also with different seasonal topics and so on, supporting the bigger marketing communication.
Sure. Yeah, and I absolutely also like you've mentioned that gamification is not about making your program feel like a game, but it's actually about building new habits sometimes. And this example that you have provided with people learning that if they scan their own products, they can avoid the long line.
Yeah,
And this is amazing example.
Yeah, and also, this was a big topic around COVID, and we had to move fast because this was like a thing that was needed at this time. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, you just listen to what's happening around you on the news, on the market, from the customers, and take these impulses and try to make your loyalty program better and responsive to that behavior. That's the key.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So then during the COVID, it was even like a feature that was directly related to legal regulations, social norms, right? So suddenly you allow people to do the shopping in a basically like better way.
Yeah. We with COVID, there came a lot of challenges. We weren't able to be in live for the rollouts of the program also, because now when it was allowed, we tried to be also present in the countries. The kickoffs and deep dives that we talked about, especially for the beginning, it's also a great decision to have them live in person to show your commitment to the colleagues in the country during this sensitive phase where uncertainty, okay, is this the right decision? Are we going to make it? Are we going to be technically there? And so on. That's where the personal contact gives you the extra nudge. And then during COVID, we were not able to. And then we realized, yeah, online is also an option, and we were able to do it as well. But of course, after COVID, then again we switched back, and even wearing masks, we rolled out countries and registered customers in the stores, and yeah, tackled this challenge as well.
Congratulations on that. It's huge actually. We are hearing about, businesses that unfortunately had to close because they were not able to operate in the new reality. But in this case, you are giving an example of a loyalty program that actually allows you to adapt. So it's also something that might be a great link between you and your customers, even in times of like significant and dramatic changes.
Yeah, Yeah,
Right. So
for me and my colleagues, we were fortunate enough, to work in a area that was especially needed at this point of time. So we had to find solutions to make also the customer experiences at that point of time then better and more comfortable.
sure, obviously. Just to follow on this gamification trend, because this example with, let's say, designing challenges that incentivize or invite customers to scan their own products and in a way learn how to do shopping in a different way. Do you have any other example that like you could design challenges around, or maybe show people how to do something in a different way? Is there anything else from this scanning feature, for example?
Um, well, also the simple a simple example is also saving physical receipts. You know, pushing the topic of sustainability and activating the feature for to save the paper when COVID. So we don't print the physical bond, and you just get the digital receipt, and in some countries you can use it also for returns and for as a guarantee. So it's there, it's for always there. You don't have to put it in a box somewhere, the paper on the paper one. So it's really efficient, and of course there will be always fans of physical printing and so on, but we see a lot of over in Germany. Since we have wrote this feature, we have saved over
100 millions.
of digital receipts.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's
That's a huge this digital transformation, right?
yes, so it's also the way to go when we think of what's happening to the climate and all the changes that we are seeing now, and to also build this bridge between a loyalty program and the topic that you stand for, like sustainability. It's also I think for me, it's a recommendation from my side also towards other companies that are struggling or still questioning what kind of topics they want to relate their program to. Because this is a relevant topic now. And also, we see younger generations that are our future customers. They also hopefully they will be more, but they start to pay more attention to what's happening around them and being more responsive to such topics. So I think that when building a strategy of how your loyalty brand will, how do you want it to look like, these are topics also to consider.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. You've already mentioned like being able to use your points in order to
Donate.
support a charity, right? Of your
Yes,
sort,
yes.
right?
This we have done in multiple countries of ours, and always has a great effect. In Bulgaria, people had the opportunity to donate points, and we plant trees uh, for each person. This was all. We saw a great response from the customers as well. In Romania, we also have a lot of charitable donations and campaigns around it. So we see that people respond to such message, and that's great about people coming together on
Mm-hmm.
such occasions.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, it is. I absolutely agree that if you add this element of being responsible and thinking about like big ideas, being able to contribute to something that is valuable, it's absolutely a motivating factor. And when it comes to gamification, I think that there is this element of being, yeah, like a part of something bigger.
Yeah,
It's also a very strong trigger, isn't it?
yeah. When you give people the chance to choose, because the points, they belong to them, and now they can be the one that do something good, for another person, for initiative, for the world. And so it's the effect that it has on the person is what this emotionalizing is all about.
Sure, and it just means that I can do something, right? I am enabled by the program to do things that are meaningful. Awesome. Thank you so much for this example. Pretty inspiring. So, I wanted also to ask you about some sort of like lessons that you were able to draw from being a person who is involved in those 8 markets. It's a great position to be in. So if you could share, you've already shared a few, but maybe there is something else you would also like to point out. That what were your observations,
Like,
from
what
running this program in 8 different markets?
what works for me, especially in this environment, is talking to people, is the stakeholder management. This is a process that often gets underestimated, I think, but it holds a lot of power. And as long as your communication strategy is transparency, people respond to you, they respect you for it. Especially in such big companies, it is really hard to keep the communication flow or in track. So this is, I think, a challenge for everybody. And then, like, for me, when I talk to a particular country, and we discuss a problem, an issue, um, what works for me is that I try to be transparent. What effects do a particular topic has on now? How should we react? What my recommendations are, and so on. And just listening to people, because often some questions or topic may seem not that relevant for you at the moment, but for the team, for the company, for the country, is like a really big issue. And so responding in a correct way, I think, is what delivers 50% of the solution. And so being able to resonate with the issue and the problem, and address it correctly, and with the corresponding importance, and time, effort to discuss it with them, it really makes the communication better. Because if you don't have a clear and reliable communication with your national colleagues, from international perspective, this can cause only challenges.
Sure, sure.
So that's what has done miracles for me. And just being there whenever a problem is there. And what we talked about in the beginning, having the big picture. So keeping an eye on the topics, even when a particular country is not in your direct responsibility, because of the a lot of topics that we gather. Just being aware of what's happening where, and also not only within your bubble of Kaufland card world, but also with the competitors. Like, what are they doing? Because this keeps you on your toes. What others are doing, what kind of other features are there rolling out, and not only as in our case, the set of 8 countries, but also beyond. What the impulses that you get from other countries, other continents, it's can only be beneficial. And for example, in my personal life, when I go on a vacation, I don't come back with magnets or postcards. I bring back leaflets and flyers from loyalty programs from the stores I have visited. Yeah, so it is really like the information is your strongest uh, tool in this line of work.
Sure. So in this way, also those different individual markets, they help you with competitive analysis, right? So they provide you with information not only about like, hey, what's happening here in our division, but it's like what is also happening with those alternative competitive programs of different retailers.
Definitely, definitely. This is one of their ongoing operational to-dos, that they also monitor the competitors, and being able to react from one day to the other. Okay, they changed, for example, the campaign, and they are now copying us, or so. There is always this different reactions and different campaigns from other competitors, but we get the information almost real time there. And of course, we from our side also try to regularly monitor also the programs, if they have some kind of new feature, to gather information and also spread this information, within our international team and also towards the other countries. So we share this information on a much brighter scale, so everybody can benefit. That's the biggest benefit when working in such an international environment, that we can share all this knowledge with our colleagues and within our teams.
Absolutely. So you basically can accelerate learning right everywhere, like around the organization. Beautiful. This is another topic that we could perhaps, like even dedicate a whole episode to. But since we are wrapping up and then closing, I wanted to ask you about this advice, because, having you here is great. Obviously, you are a loyalty builder, which means that you have practical, hands-on experience on building programs in those many markets. Retail has been one of the key industry where loyalty plays a huge role. So I wanted to ask you about your, let's say, piece of advice to those loyalty professionals who are thinking about designing loyalty programs for retail, and especially if you could think about gamification and the proper use of gamification. So what would be your advice or pieces of advice for those people?
Yeah, I think when one starts considering such a big project, one has to start with building the strategy. What do you want to achieve? And also identifying your customer base. Who do I want to attract with my service? Of course, now independently, if it's food retail, other retails, no matter, you have to know what your target is, who is the targeted customer, and how build a profile. We also have this like personas that we gather information around, just to be able to respond to their needs, and like building your strategy upon it. No, also in the long term, is it what is should it be point based program, or do we want to have different levels, and what makes sense, on what fits our brand, what are the different services, what is our technical system, and also what services can we combine and offer as an additional benefit to our program. You have to know your product to be able to build the right strategy for it, and not like in 1 year to decide what we built isn't really attractive anymore, or we offer points but people cannot really use them. And it's like the right to have the right idea and to build around it, to make it also not complicated for customers. I think this is something that also some companies struggle. They make it too complicated, and people want to think easy and like this book and this theory about thinking fast and slow. So making the decisions like yes or no. This is what you want to, how you want people to respond. Do I want a discount? Yes. Do I like this fruit and vegetables coupon? Yes, I will give the 10 points for it. Like, not really spend time on thinking, is this the right decision for me? So it should be really easy and like really mm, to reflect the customer that you're targeting and his attitude and way of thinking, and yeah, his or her behavior. So that's very important. And of course, thinking about the data that you gather, to be smart with it. What do you use it for, and how you use this data also to build gamification around it as well. Where, so because sometimes less is more. You don't have to gamify every step of the customer journey. You have to be really precise with it, so it's the right amount of emotions that you want to bring up in the customer. It's all about balance, and you won't get everything right from the beginning, and that's the beauty in it, because the programs evolve. And when designing, I think it's also very important technically to always leave room for improvement, to always leave one door a little bit open, so you can then adapt to the customer's feedback, to the KPIs, to the usage that you see. And yeah, just be open to changes, and to not be afraid to fail or to see declining numbers. There is always an option that there will always be a campaign that you can do, or a way to go to come back.
You're right. Absolutely. And especially for people who are just beginning their career in loyalty, very often it's like they are so careful about, the design part. And obviously it's very important. But what I've seen, the key is to launch like the basics, like just make sure that the basics work properly. And then you've mentioned the feedback coming from members directly. And this is a key information loop that if you actually pay attention to what is sticky with the members, right? What seems to be working, then is automatically easier for you, because it's not only about your design and your ideas, but it's actually to, how do people respond to the things that we are launching, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think also, even with 8 countries, when we see it, we always say them. Yeah, it's the how it looks like. It's not the most important. It always is the most important thing for many, how it looks like. But at the end of the day, people come for the benefits and not for how it looks like, how the program looks like, or how it is called. You can have the best modern looking program there is, but if you're not really offering a customer benefit, then it will show in the usage.
Sure. Absolutely agree with you that it's about the value that you provide. So if you are able to provide this value, and actually, customers, members feel it, uh, this is where loyalty is built. Mirela, thank you so much for the conversation. As I've mentioned before, there are so many questions I left, even, I didn't ask, but it was truly informative. I've learned a lot. I really, enjoyed this experience. To everyone who is watching this video, thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions that are, related to retail loyalty programs, coalition versus proprietary, running a international loyalty program, make sure to write them down in the comments. I will be definitely looking out for them, and we will provide answers to every single question. So once again, thank you so much. And if there is anything else you would like to share with the audience, now is the time.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. This is also a unique experience for me as well. Being able to share this information, the experiences that I gather along the way, and I really hope that at least one person found something that will stick to them, maybe for the next days, and they can implement it in their work and their everyday life. And just want to say that loyalty is really special, and when done right, it can be a really a big game changer. And great loyalty programs are still unicorns, I think, and that finding one and just even learning from them by reading or news about them or listening to podcasts and so on, it really helps. And for me, it's always a great experience and add-on to my profile when I learn from others. So I really encourage people just to broaden their perspectives on loyalty and how other companies do it, because you can learn also from the good and from the bad examples, and take something home.
Absolutely. So at least, I'm for sure I am the one person that will, learn on the things that you have provided. Thank you so much for being a part of the Loyalty Builders community. This is huge. And, especially this knowledge coming from people who actually build the programs and are responsible for implementing, the technology behind it and also the design. This is a wonderful source of information. So thank you so much once again, and thank you so much for everyone who joined us. And see you soon at the next Loyalty Builders video.